Hi everyone, today I am going to be talking a little bit about fixatives. I've been asked to do a video to show how to use fixative. I can't actually spray it in here because I'll explain, I use it outside. But I've got these two types of fixative. Now I know that these aren't available in all countries, but I can talk you through the two different types that I have here. There are more than two types. Now this one is Lockley. This is it says on it, colourless non-yellowing medium for protecting charcoal, pencil, pastel, crayon, chalk, drawings and paintings. And it is a standard aerosol spray can. And it tells you on the back what to do, that you shake it, point it towards the, it says point it towards scrap material and press for a second to clear. So it's just to make sure your nozzle isn't blocked because you don't want too much coming out at once. And then what I tend to do is I move across as I spray like that, but you're not that closely. So I'm really close to the desk. I would be so far away that you can't see sort of a good foot or something like that. Now this one here smells. So I would never use it inside. I have before and it took me hours to get the smell out of the house. So I use this one outside. So I only use it in good weather. If it's windy and the pages of my book are going to blow around, if it's raining, I can't use it. But it has advantages in that it's quite a fine spray due to the aerosol top, which means it doesn't saturate the paper too much. There are problems if it does, and I shall get on and explain that later. But that one, that's that one. Now this one is one I bought. I haven't used this very much and it's odour free apparently. It does smell, but it doesn't catch in your throat and make you cough, so you can use it inside. But it has a sort of pump top, you can probably see. I'm not going to take it off because it's wet inside, but it has a pump top. Now the problem with that is that you can't control how much water comes out. It seems to come out in sort of big blobs. It doesn't come up in a nice mist. So when I spray it, I can actually see dots of wet on my page, and when I use it, my paper curls up because it gets so wet. So I wouldn't actually recommend this one, even though it's odour free, because of that reason. It gets very wet, but it's just as suitable for all the same items as the other one. I won't read it all out for you. It's just a different brand. I bought it because it was odour free, but no, if there was an odour free with an aerosol top, maybe that would be better, but I don't know. So that's that one. Now, using too much can be a big problem. So what I do with this one, as it's a nice easy spray, is I just do a fine mist, and then that's usually enough. I have this picture here to show you. Now on this picture here, I made a huge error. I sprayed it and I was holding it. I held it in my hand and I flapped it in the wind like this. Okay, I was outside and it was so wet, and it was even this one. It was so wet that it ran just here, and I actually had a dribble mark, like a drip, a run in my black pastel, and you could see it really clearly. I'll put a photo right now so you can see the sort of before effect. And I did manage to erase it, because pastel does erase, and put some more on and slightly make it look a bit better. But it's obviously not as smooth and nice as all this bit here. You can see there's an area that's been, so that is a problem. So you do have to be careful. Now, although I sprayed this with fixative, you look at this side, I can still see some pastel transfer here. So, you know, it's not perfect. What I would probably recommend is make sure you put some paper in between. You know, that would be better protection than the spray. It doesn't seem that brilliant. Especially if you've sprayed it and then you're colouring on the back, it might transfer across. So maybe using pieces of paper in between the pages might be better, but of course that is cumbersome. If you've got a huge book like this with pages which aren't really standard size paper, and then every page nearly has another piece of paper in between, that could be quite annoying. So this one I haven't sprayed. I didn't spray it because the whole page is a double page. If it transfers from one page to the other, I don't mind. It's the same colour all the way across. The bands are the same. So I didn't spray it. The only disadvantage, if you put your hand on it, it could transfer onto your hand. But I'm just very careful not to sort of smudge around on the pages. So, so what else can I say? There are lots of different brands. As I said, if you use too much, it's quite risky. And I have heard people say that the colour transfers through the page. When they spray fixative on, it goes through to the back. So it might depend on the a type of pencil that you're using. So that could be a little bit of a worry. Now, some people use hairspray instead of fixative because these are expensive. These are specialist art materials, so expensive. Hairspray is a lot cheaper, and you might have some in your house. I don't wear hairspray. And the smell, I don't like the smell of hairspray at all, but some people might find it more, this is worse. But you know, obviously it's all a very personal thing. But so I have heard people say that hairspray makes the paper go yellow. So I really wouldn't use it without caution, because not immediately, but later, you know, once it's left for a while, apparently it can yellow. Now, if you're spraying something that's already yellow, maybe you don't mind, but you know, you need to be careful. Last thing I'm going to talk about is workable and non-workable fixative. There are fixatives, not these, that you put on as your final layer, and it's almost like a setting varnish-ish, you know, just so you know what I mean. It just sets it all and that's the end of it. These are workable fixatives. So what that means is once you've sprayed it, you can then carry on. So it can be quite useful if you do a pastel background on your piece. I haven't got the example here actually. Let's say I did this first and then I wanted to colour this. If I didn't fix this background, I would be smudging this black all over the place. Yes, you can lean on a piece of paper, but it can be more, but even that might smudge it around. So you might want to put the fixative on first and then colour the pencil work after, or you might want to just do some work on top of the pastels. So having a workable fixative can be in your advantage for that reason. I haven't tried one that isn't workable, so I don't know what the difference is. This one tells you to spray it every few layers and keep spraying it, but I don't know if it's really, it says it works on paper, but it does curl the paper up a bit, so maybe I'm applying it too thickly. I don't know, but I'm still learning with that one. But I have found, I did do a pastel background, spray some of this one, and then do some pencil, and what I found is it added a layer to the paper, which is obviously what it's supposed to do, but it became more toothy, and that made it harder for me to colour and I had to put down more layers of pencil for it to show up as vibrantly. I really noticed the difference, so make sure you test that first and think about whether that's what you want. However, it has its advantages in that I have heard that people find that, you know, eventually after you put lots and lots of layers of pencil down, your paper runs out of tooth, you can't put any more on. Put a layer of this on and you might be able to add a final layer of pencil if you really think it needs it. So there is an advantage there as well. So that's me. I haven't really demonstrated how to use the fixative, but I hope I've given you a little bit of information so that you can have a think about whether it might be something that you want to use. Do ask questions in the comments if you have any. I may not know the answer, but someone else might, and I may. You never know. But as I say, those are the two brands I've tried. This one I would recommend more, but use it outside, and so it has to be just the right weather to use it. And to be honest, I don't use fixative very much anymore. Use it on this page because it's very black, but on a page, as I say, like this one, where any transfer across isn't going to matter, I didn't bother. And to colour in all this black, I just leant on a piece of paper. I wasn't too worried about it, and I can tell by the feel of the page. Touch it very gently, that hasn't got fixative on it. You can feel the you can feel it. I don't know if I've done any more in here. Oh, I've done some in there. Look, I didn't use it for that either, because they're opposite each other. Then it doesn't matter if a bit transfers across, you know. But actually, I noticed that, look, on this pot there's a bit of red from the pot over there. So the pencil's transferred across more than the pastel has. So you can use it full pencil, It does say that you can on the tin, and some pencils are much more likely to transfer than others. I find that the softer ones, this is actually done in polychromos as far as I'm aware, and it has transferred across, and there's a bit of blue from this pot over there as well, so that's quite interesting. So you might want to do that. Some people just put a piece of paper in between every page, as I said before, and that can protect everything. So, or you know, you can cut up your book. Some people do take the spine off and file each page, but whether you could find one this size, I don't know. And some people cover their pages in plastic. Susan Wimpney Berry has a video on exactly how to do that. I would not be daring enough to try that, but I'm not crafty and I wouldn't get it straight, and I would make a horrible mess. But it's worth having a little look at that if that's an option for you. So there we go. So I'm going to finish there, and I hope that's just given you a little bit more information about the fixatives. It's hard for me to recommend what to buy because I know that I think in America you can't get Lockley, you get something called Krylon, which a lot of people recommend, I think, but having not tried it I can't say for sure, and both of these have disadvantages, so it's really hard for me to say which is best. It's a very personal thing. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day and happy colouring.